Good morning to the viewers of NDTV. I'm coming to you live from Vijay Chowk in the national capital, right next to the Parliament of India. And that's where there has been unprecedented hostilities and escalation of that, which is now being witnessed, particularly in the Rajya Sabha between the Treasury benches and the opposition. What is clear now is that the opposition has gone on a track where they will not be backing off. The opposition has 60 MPs of the opposition bloc actually moved a no trust or no confidence motion against the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Remember, this has happened for the first time in 72-year-long history of the Rajya Sabha. Although as far as the lower house or the Lok Sabha is concerned, in the past there has been 3 instances of no trust or no confidence motion against the chair. But on all those occasions, because of the number strength that the Treasury benches have, it was defeated. But in terms of the messaging or in terms of the optics, it certainly is that of a maximalist position which has been taken by the opposition and similarly by the Treasury benches. As soon as this motion was moved or the petition resolution was submitted by the opposition 60 MPs, we heard from Kiran Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, who said that they do not have the numbers, so it will be invariably defeated. But apart from numbers, what is becoming clear is that these chairs, which are supposed to be constitutional offices, also bipartisan offices, have now been caught in the crossfire of the opposition and the Treasury benches. I have Bhaskar Ghosh joining us from the BJP. Salim Dharan is from the DMK. We also have Nirja Chaudhary joining us. But before that, let's please listen in to all the sound bites which have come in, and then I bring in the guests.
जिस तरह से राज्यसभा की कार्यवाही सभापति महोदय जो कस्टोडियन है हाउस के, जिस तरह से वो कार्यवाही कर रहे थे और लगातार कर रहे हैं, जहां पर नेता प्रतिपक्ष तक को बोलने नहीं दिया जाता है, शायद वो उनसे चिढ़ते हैं क्योंकि वो दलित समाज से आते हैं, इतने ऊंचे ओहदे पर पहुंचे, अपने बल पर पहुंचे। ऐसे व्यक्ति के लिए उनके मन में सम्मान होना चाहिए, लेकिन इतने असम्मान से, इतने तिरस्कार से बात करते हैं। तो इस तरह की पार्टिजान कार्रवाई, इस तरह का पक्षपात मुझे नहीं लगता कि राज्यसभा में होना चाहिए।
आज जो नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन ऑपोजिशन की तरफ से डाला गया है, ये भी पार्लियामेंट्री प्रोसीजर में अलाउड है। ये कोई हमने नियम का कानून तोड़ के या संविधान के बाहर जाके अपने अधिकार का हमने अधिकार नहीं जताया है। हमारा अधिकार है नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन मूव करना, पर इन सब चीजों से हटकर इधर उधर की बातें करना बीजेपी की आदत है। आज भी वो सदन में बाधा दे रहे, इससे तृणमूल कांग्रेस वॉकआउट कर गई है।
There was no need for the Congress party and the opposition leaders to serve a notice against the Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. This notice is only prompted by their effort to get away from the exposure of the links between OCCRP, George Soros and the leadership of the Congress party. This kind of diversionary tactics will not succeed.
Soni? Remember, Article 67B of the Constitution actually refers to the motion of removal of the Vice Chairman, which can be done only if the House passes a resolution in favor of it. But a motion of this nature, as far as this issue is concerned, will be taken up in the next session because it requires a notice or prior notice of 14 days. But what we are witnessing in Parliament is unprecedented. For the first time in 72-year-old history of the Rajya Sabha, it is happening. Nirja Chaudhary, very, very unfortunate. The government of the day says it's regrettable. But the fact is that the chair has to also appear to be bipartisan, not only the chair is expected to be bipartisan, but it also has to appear to be bipartisan.
Yes, absolutely. This is not about the notice period. It is also not about the numbers in the houses, which will enable it to go through or not go through. This is about the sentiment of a large number of opposition MPs. as feeling that the chair has been partisan, and it's not one development, two development has been going on over session. And they almost brought this notice in the last session also. And as you say, they're likely to take it up in the next session because the 14-day period is not there this time. So, but what is also worrying is that normally when there is an impasse of this kind, and there has been many times in the last decade with sessions getting washed out, complete sessions getting washed out, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister or the chairs have intervened between the two sides. And if the chairs start to look as being partisan, then where does one look? Who do you look to defuse a situation like this in Parliament? Without Parliament, if this goes on day after day and session after session. I mean, these are very serious questions that are being posed in the last hours and last days. And I remember even, BJP Parliamentary Affairs Minister Pramod Mahajan saying to opposition people, "Theek hai, ab aapne keh liya na, ab let's sit down and work it out." And it is really the ruling side which is called to make sure that tempers come down, situation gets diffused, and the house starts to function again. And somewhere they have become part of this standoff. Those who should be actually helping to defuse the situation. I think that really is the unfortunate part of what is being played out in Parliament.
Absolutely. Absolutely, ma'am, because Bhaskar Ghosh, come in on this. The charge or the notice says that the chairman of the Rajya Sabha interrupts leaders of opposition when they speak, and when it is about the treasury benches, they're given a free run. These are allegations, or should I say it has come to this level only after repeated, back and forth or confrontation that we saw on the floor of the House, where leaders repeatedly said and raised questions to the Vice President, or who is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Do you think it could have been addressed when these concerns were being raised, rather than reaching to this extent where, where there is a notice of impeachment or removal?
Maria, I think this is quite unfortunate. In the last history of 72 years of Parliament, the opposition has shown that they don't deserve to be the status of opposition. They don't have the numbers even to bring this particular notice. If I slightly deviate from the issue, this is actually, the frustration what the opposition has now, because they have lost. They have lost in Maharashtra, they have lost in Chhattisgarh, they have lost in Madhya Pradesh, they have lost in Rajasthan. So this is a frustration working in the opposition, and they do not want their defeat to reflect in the numbers in Rajya Sabha. They don't have numbers. See their callousness. They don't have numbers, but still they are asking for removals. I mean, their only intention is to not to run the parliament, create a chaos, but the whole world, the whole India is looking into it. They will give the answer. They are giving the answer one after another votes. There have been shameful defeats.
Bhaskar Ghosh, it's the people of India who have chosen this opposition. It's the people of India that chose this opposition. The fact is, yes, but they chose this opposition.
They have
yes,
chosen
you
their
may call them irresponsible, but it's the people
expectation
that they decided to give some weight to the opposition parties as well. So let me bring in Salim Dharanidharan. Okay, Salim Dharanidharan, there could have been a solution rather than taking this route. Do you think efforts were made by the opposition parties, by the India bloc, to reach out to the Vice President of India, the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and sort out issues? Was that done?
Yeah, I think this is not the first time this is happening, or this is not the first season it's happening. It's been happening for the last several years, ever since the present chairman is there in Rajya Sabha. I've known parliamentarians personally, and even they've been complaining about it, not just now, for over the last 12 months. And we have allegations of truth that he's been muting opposition MPs when they are speaking. I think that's not the job of a chairman of the Rajya Sabha, rather the vice president. His job is to remain non-partisan and listen to both sides, both the treasury benches as well as the opposition. It is not that he will only allow the treasury benches to speak and not allow the opposition members to speak. And again, certain disparaging remarks by him on opposition MPs when they spoke views that are in contrary to the views of the BJP, right? I think this is not fair. See, every time it's the ruling party that will decide on the president and the vice president, and therefore the speaker and the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. But to an extent, they all remain non-partisan, and they do follow the rules of the house and they follow the parliamentary procedure. What has happened recently under this gentleman is that the parliamentary procedure has not been followed. There's absolute disdain for the principles of democracy. That is the problem. You see, it's not about the elections. Even BJP lost Jharkhand, BJP lost Jammu Kashmir, BJP did not get a single parliamentarian from Tamil Nadu after trying so hard. So it's not about the elections, right? It is only about sustaining the democracy in the country. I think we do have the numbers. If you look in Rajya Sabha, the BJP is just 5 parliamentarians more. And again, BJP without the allies is only 240 in number in the lower house. So it is definitely possible. Even let's assume if it's not possible, right, for the no confidence motion to go through. But I think it's symbolic. We have told a message that listen, if you don't.
I agree. You have used the right word here, Salim, that it's about symbolism or optics or messaging that is coming in from the India bloc here. That's what I want to ask Bhaskar Ghosh. You can talk about your numerical strength. You can say that it will be defeated. But it is not about that. It's about one of the highest constitutional offices and its custodian being questioned, the manner in which Mr. Dhankhar is being questioned by the MPs of the India bloc. I think it's about that symbolic protest that is being registered through this act of impeachment or the no trust which has been moved.
See, this is not the first time. Even in the lower house, they have shown against Mr. Om Birla. So they have no respect for the parliamentary democracies. In fact, they don't want to face the story behind it. They don't want to face the walk-off bill, amendment bills. They don't want to face so many bills government wants to introduce in parliament. So they're creating a ruckus. It is a planned movement, pre-planned movements. And Mr. Dhankhar has wished Sonia Gandhi ji on her birthday. So where is where is the lack of courtesy? Where is the lack of protocols? But why they every time they create a ruckus and they leave the parliament, they don't want the parliament to run. They don't want this country to run through parliament. That has done. They have just remember from 2009 to 2014 what was happening in the parliament. They cannot run the parliament. So it is a planned move by the minority opposition. So to restrict the government to introduce effective bills for the development of this country, and they want to show that okay, fine, this is the failure of the ruling party, but ruling party and opposition has an equal responsibility to run the parliament.
Opposition, as you heard from Bhaskar Ghosh, really behaving in a responsible manner.
You asking me?
Yes.
Me?
Salim, that's the question to you.
Yes. First and foremost, I think Bhaskar Ghosh, I think didn't get how the parliament works. I think he is saying because we are not allowing parliament to function, because we are asking questions, he says we are against democracy. No, in a democracy, the job of the opposition is to question the ruling party whenever we think they are deviating from what we think is wrong. Whenever we think democracy is in threat, whenever we think the constitution is under threat, it is a job of the opposition to protest, and that is exactly what we are doing. I think.
And this is the way of protest.
Pardon?
This is the way of protest by.
See, what is protest? Protest is showing dissent. Dissent is the essence of democracy. Why do you see protest as wrong? Protest means dissent. Dissent is the essence of democracy. I think what BJP spokesperson have assumed is that the opposition should say yes to everything and everything that BJP does. Sorry, that's not democracy. That's autocracy, where the opposition members come and sit, and then and for whatever the ruling party does, they stamp on the table and they go. Right? I think that's absolutely not democracy. And again, right, one anecdote where he wished the former president of the Congress party, the senior leader Sonia Gandhi ji. I think that doesn't say that doesn't say, oh wow, he's a non-partisan person, right? It's only one anecdote. I can give you hundreds of anecdotes where he has behaved in a partisan manner. How is an anecdote, one specific anecdote, absolve him of all the wrong things that he has done to the constitution, to the parliamentary procedure, and to the opposition? I think that's absolutely not a right argument. So the parliament should function how it should function.
Okay, let me bring in
should be
my
followed.
colleague.
When it comes to work bill, I want to speak about the work bill.
Absolutely.
About the work bill alone. So he says we didn't.
Yes, I'll bring. Let me bring in Aishwarya Jain now. I'm coming to both of you in just a bit. Let's get a quick update from Aishwarya Jain, my colleague who's joining us from Vijay Chowk. Aishwarya, you know, that motion has been moved. 60 MPs have submitted that motion of, no confidence against the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Do you think after that kind of escalation, it's bitterness at its peak in the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha that we are witnessing, there can be any functioning of parliament?
Well, several opposition MPs have claimed that they are not against an individual, but they are against, the protection, and they are fighting for the protection of the institutions, and therefore the reason perhaps this no confidence motion had been submitted to the Secretary General Office of the Rajya Sabha. They want to send out a message that the kind of nature and the kind of attitude that the Rajya Sabha chairperson had on the first day of the third week of intersession of Parliament, when Rule 267 was not accepted when submitted by the opposition MPs, and later under the same rule it was given a chance to the BJP MPs and treasury benches to stand up and to raise their issues. Against that, they had reached out and had now submitted the no confidence motion. But I must tell you that yesterday there was huge allegations and counter allegations that also was leveled just not against the Rajya Sabha chairperson, but also against the Parliamentary Affairs Minister. Jairam Ramesh, Congress MP, on record went on to say that during a meeting, Rajya Sabha chairperson called JP Nadda and the opposition MPs, it was Parliamentary Affairs Minister who stated that if you will not let Lok Sabha run, then they will not allow Rajya Sabha to run. That's huge allegations, to which it was Rijiju in the evening clearly had given a befitting reply and denied all the charges, denied all the allegations that Jairam Ramesh leveled. It is Parliamentary Affairs Minister who stated that they want to run the Parliament. They want to discuss any issue, but first they should reach out to the BAC. But the kind of attitude that the opposition MPs have, the kind of protest that they are doing outside the Parliament is not good for the Parliament. The submission of the no confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chair, who has acted in a very balanced way so far, is something that shows the kind of bitterness that the opposition MPs have. And from here on, when the no confidence motion had been submitted to Secretary General Office, what sort of integration that they have with the opposition MPs and the treasury benches is something that will be very interesting to see. But Jairam Ramesh, in the ending comments, he stated that he's not finding any middle ground, and he's not thinking that the Parliament can function from here on, because each and every party have their own issues to be raised, and Bharatiya Janata Party is clearly demanding answers from the Congress on the allegations leveled against Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, and the links between the Soros Foundation.
So Aishwarya, thank you for that quick update. Let's bring in Neerja now. This, notice of, to move a motion of removal of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, Neerja. Do you think we'll even witness the historic debate which is slated for Friday and Saturday on constitution now? Or do you think after this kind of position which has been taken by the opposition and a response which has come from the treasury benches, there could be no debate at all?
Well, if the House doesn't function, how will there be a debate? And I think, people like us who are watching it, or the country watching it, the sense is bahut ho gaya. Somewhere maybe the Prime Minister needs to intervene. Who else is there? To somehow diffuse the situation, call 2, 3, 4 opposition leaders and say what is the way out. Call Mr. Kharge, call a couple of others. What is the way out? You cannot have parliament function like this spectacle we see day after day. It's a very painful, we are very proud of India's parliamentary democracy. To see this play out is a very painful thing for the citizens of the country.
Yes, that's right, Nirja. So let's see whether that debate, which is scheduled for Friday and Saturday, will happen at all now. If this is the point of confrontation, total mistrust or distrust between the Treasury benches and the opposition, almost like a complete breakdown of communication is what we are witnessing now. Yesterday was a Business Advisory Committee meeting. Aishwarya, a word on that before I let you go. What has the Business Advisory Committee decided? We were told that it will be 12 hours in all, the time which has been allocated for a discussion on the Constitution and its functioning in the Lok Sabha.
Well, certainly yesterday Business Advisory Committee met for the Rajya Sabha, and they've decided that 12 hours will be allocated for 16th and 17th of December, in which Rajya Sabha will be holding the debate on the adoption of constitution, and 6 hours each to the opposition and to the treasury benches. Each and every political party have to give their speakers, and they will be given time. In Lok Sabha, it is 13 hours, and it has been also mentioned that in Lok Sabha, Prime Minister will be concluding the debate of the constitution on 14th September in the evening, and on 16th, Home Minister Amit Shah will be initiating the debate on the constitution. It will ruckus that we are witnessing in both the houses of parliament will also cast its shadow on the upcoming constitution debate or not, but Congress hinting out that definitely it will, because Bharatiya Janata Party and treasury benches, according to them, what they allege is they do not want the house to be function, and that will also impact the all-important constitution debate as asked by the opposition MPs from both Lok Sabha Speaker and
what happens to the constitution debate? I mean, all of you wanted a discussion on constitution, but given how there has been almost, as I said, complete breakdown of communication between the two sides, will there be a discussion on constitution now? Ms. Dharni? Yes, Mr. Dharnidharan, if you heard me. That's a question to you, sir.
Can you please, I lost your audio for 10 seconds. Can I just repeat?
Yes, yes. My question is that on 13th and 14th is when the Lok Sabha is going to discuss or debate the constitution. The consultations will be around the framework of constitution and India's constitution democracy, how constitution and India are so, how we have functioned. Because we are celebrating 75 years of Indian constitution, but that's a discussion that was demanded by the opposition. But because of what is playing out in the Rajya Sabha, will there be a discussion at all? Will you get a chance to speak? Will the government speak, or will there be complete din and a total washout, what we are seeing day after day?
No, I think it depends on the dialogue that we in the India bloc would have with our colleagues in the treasury bench, that is the BJP. And there are a lot of other pertinent issues that we also wanted to discuss. For example, the Adani we wanted to discuss, not been discussed. Manipur we wanted to discuss, not been discussed. The DMK per se wanted to discuss about fiscal federalism, and within that framework we want to discuss about funding to Tamil Nadu for the recent floods and the previous cyclone that happened last year. So a lot of these issues we wanted to be discussed, but no, they didn't want to discuss. But firstly and foremost, now we'll have to see the dialogue with the BJP. There is still hope. It's only Wednesday, so we still have 2 more days. Let's see if the BJP does allow us to have a dialogue on the issues that we wanted to talk. For example, the last week around Thursday, we did cooperate in the parliament. It's again when BJP went to the old ways, then only then the protest again started, right? And even on this Monday, that is a day before, all the issues with the opposition that the India bloc wanted to discuss were rejected. All the notices given by us were rejected. And I think these are the issues that's a problem. And I think somehow they make it appear that it is the opposition that does not want to cooperate. But the fact of the matter is that it is the BJP, the treasury bench, that has forced us to resort to protest, because no parliamentary procedure is being followed, and there's complete disdain for the opposition leaders there. And most importantly, when I spoke previously, I spoke about
Bhaskar
work
Ghosh,
bill.
a word.
For example, work bill went to the parliamentary committee, joint parliamentary committee, only because of the protest of the India bloc members and because the BJP didn't have numbers. Any bill I would suggest of importance to the country should go to the joint parliamentary committee. The number of bills that's been going to the joint parliamentary committee from 2014 to 24 is reduced by at least 5 times, which is actually not good for the quality of bills that's coming out. Right?
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Salim Dharnidhar. And a word from Bhaskar Ghosh. Do you think there will be an attempt in the next 48 hours before that crucial debate on constitution to iron out differences, to diffuse the situation?
Yeah, I was hearing to my DMK spokesperson, but I must ask him to admit certain facts. Whenever the business of the day is concluded, on that day, why they are bringing the business of the other days? Because to create a ruckus. And quote unquote, opposition leader in Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, is telling that we are killing the democracy. The whole world is saying that who is killing the democracy? We want to discuss on the bills, and we have introduced a workup bill. It was decided to go for an review, and that review is done, and now we are ready to introduce a workup bill, but because of this chaotic situation, we cannot. So it is not the only responsibility of the treasury bench. It is responsibility of the opposition. See, the opposition don't want to function parliament in the way it should function. And what we can do, we are ready to, all the bills are on the row, we are spending, and they are not allowing us to discuss. See, when we are discussing on the constitution.
All right, Bhaskar Ghosh, Neerja Chaudhary and Mr. Dharnidharan, thank you so much for joining us.